Well, hey now, welcome to Fitz's Electric Bar. So here are the shows that I saw for the first 6 months, taking me straight through until the end of June. So Government Mule on February 8th, April 16th saw Daniel Romano's Outfit, May 25th, Sky Diggers, June 4th, Echo and the Bunnymen at the Commodore, June 7th, Yard Act at the Rickshaw, June 10th, Nick Lowe and Ron Sexsmith at the Commodore, June 14th and 15th, Dead and Company at the Sphere, and June 25th, Jessica Pratt at the Biltmore. Again, most of these in Vancouver, with the exception of Dead and Company, which was in Las Vegas, of course. So I'm going to do these in reverse order. Start with Jessica Pratt. I have talked about her quite a bit recently because I absolutely love this record here in the pitch. And she's just got this beautiful voice, hard to describe, almost a whisper, but it's got strength to it. The recording is very understated, some beautiful melodies, most of it very subtle, and just a very stripped back, simple sounding record, but one that sticks with you and one that I find that I play over and over again. So she came to the Biltmore Cabaret. It's like a 5-minute walk from our home, which is fabulous. And I don't normally love the Biltmore. It's a very small club, but they seem to have done a good job of getting, maybe this is post-pandemic, they've been able to get the air circulating going pretty well, so it's not too claustrophobic. But one of the challenges of this place is that the riser for the stage must be like 6 inches off the ground. So I'm going to put a little clip on at the end of this segment about her. She and her band were sitting down. And so literally I'm 6'4". I'm standing up, and the camera that I'll show you, the angle that I'm showing you, is my camera over my head like that, just to capture a little bit. And all you get is the top of her head. So pretty much everybody, unless you were in the front 2 rows and everybody's standing, could actually see her. And the rest of it was just the sound. And the sound was great. It was very warm. I actually really quite enjoyed the show, but it's pretty bizarre when you can't see the artist. I've got a wife who's 5 foot tall, and I have a deeper appreciation of what it's like for her to go to a show when we're on the dance floor and she's standing behind someone like me. Anyways, Jessica Pratt, good show, Biltmore. June 14th and 15th, Dead and Company at Sphere. So this is where some people may check out, but I got to tell you, it was fantastic. Sphere was great. The venue was really something else. When you first came in, first of all, also the air circulation, it may sound like a small thing, but it was like 40 degrees there. So it was nice and cool, and the air was flowing freely, which was great. We had floor tickets for the general admission for the 2 shows we were at. And you look around the Sphere and you see, when you first arrive, it looks like there's all of the infrastructure or the physical structure of Sphere around you, like girders, metal girders and ropes and stuff like that. And you're kind of wondering, is this really what it looks like? Is this really what it's made of? And at the beginning of the show, it starts off with this whole projection just kind of disappearing in the beginning of what is a spectacular visual part of the show. The high res is really staggering. And it's really going to be up to the bands that play there to be able to use that in a really great way. Now, quickly, so I love the Grateful Dead. Other people I know have no time for them, but there are many others who really enjoy them. But one of the great things about Grateful Dead music and live shows is the sense of community, is that people coming from all walks of life, it is just a really, really positive kind of vibe. And everyone's very happy to be there, and whatever your political stripes and background or whatever, it all be damned because you're all Grateful Dead fans. I thought, one of my concerns was going to be, is it going to be like people watching TV rather than really getting into the music? You've got these staggering wraparound visuals. Are people going to be just watching the visuals and not really getting into the music? Well, there was no concern about that. The sound was excellent. It wasn't incredibly good, but it was clear, and it was a good sound. And the crowd was so into it. And there were just so many great moments in those 2 nights of people dancing around and just eye contact of like, oh my God, when you hear a song that you absolutely love. And there were many of those. Of course, the 2 nights, no repeats of any songs in those 2 nights, which I think is really an outstanding experience and does encourage people to come back night after night. And then visually, I won't go into it, but there is a narrative to the whole thing as far as Grateful Dead or Dead and Company is concerned. And it is a wild narrative that starts with the hate in San Francisco and then takes you off into space and brings you back down again. And it's a long, strange trip. It's beautiful. So those shows were great. Dead and Company, we went down with a group of us, 4 of us. So that whole experience, related to Grateful Dead world, is all about kind of the American experience of, pioneer travel, on the road, all that kind of stuff. And of course, everybody's coming to Las Vegas, but you're coming to Vegas and this is a road trip for most of us. And you come, and so we rented a nice house about 30 minutes away from the Strip. So it was nice to be away from everything with a nice pool and with great friends. And we all thoroughly enjoyed it and got up to no good most of the time, which was awesome. Just before that, June 10th, Nick Lowe and Ron Sexsmith. So this was just solo, the 2 of them. And it was great. Ron Sexsmith, a real Canadian treasure. I have to say that live, I don't find him to be maybe super dynamic, but he's such a great singer-songwriter that there are songs that you listen to him perform and it's just beautiful. And Nick Lowe, he has become such a kind of a crooner in the best sense of the word. And his voice is so good and so warm. He's got some good stories. It's good stories about Johnny Cash and things like that, because of course he was married to Johnny Cash was his father-in-law for a while when he was married to one of the Cash daughters. Musically, just wonderful. Great to see Nick Lowe just on his own, not with Los Straitjackets. So that was cool.
This wicked world, searching for love in the darkness of insanity. As I walk on through troubled times, my spirit gets so downhearted sometimes. But where are the strong, and who are the trusted? Where is that harmony, sweet harmony? Each time I feel it slipping away, just makes me wanna cry. What's so funny about peace, love, and understanding?
The next 2 shows, they were kind of a few days apart. Well, these were all within a week, I guess, the Nick Lowe Yard Act and Echo and the Bunnymen. We saw Echo and the Bunnymen June 4th at the Commodore. Commodore is a great venue here in Vancouver. It's just the right size, and it's standing room for the most part. So, and you can always get up pretty close, even if it's a sold out show, which Echo and the Bunnymen was. I thought it was okay. What was interesting is they've got a great catalog. I've always liked Echo and the Bunnymen, but the negative part of the show for me was that Will Sargent, who I guess has had some kind of falling out, maybe it's a long-standing falling out with Ian McCullough, the singer, just felt completely muted. Like his guitar used to always have this great cutting edge and add a little element of danger to it. I found it to be sort of had lost its... It was very muted, and it lost its edge. And they have a second guitarist, and musically they're very tight and everything like that. But Ian McCullough, I think, was having some back issues, so I don't begrudge him that. But he's not much of a, never has been much of a sort of performer. He's usually shrouded in fog and sunglasses and very little interaction with the audience. And when he does talk to the audience, you have no fucking idea of a word that he's saying, I'll tell you. Few nights later was Yard Act. Now, I didn't know their music very well. I streamed a bit of it before the show, but it was just going on a lark with some friends. Ian, if you're watching, thank you for the suggestion to go, and Richard and I and Simon and Rob, and we I loved it. I didn't come away feeling like the music itself was something that was that I needed to follow up on per se. But what I really loved was going in without really knowing any of the music and watching the crowd. And the crowd was really getting into some of their stuff. Lead singer is very charismatic. The guitarist there's something about him I found quite mesmerizing. And then they have two backup vocals and female vocals and dancers. And they're kind of simultaneously like really choreographed, but they're also just kind of like very outgoing and having a lot of fun and kind of breaking the choreography as well. And so I found them to be like really, really enjoyable. So having seen Yard Act a few days after Echo and the Bunnymen, I kind of, maybe I'd had a few drinks, but I kind of came away thinking more Yard Act and less Echo and the Bunnymen, meaning got to go to more new shows and see new bands and take chances. The ticket cost is almost nothing, and it's fun to see up and coming bands. I used to do that all the time, and I don't as much as I used to. So more Yard Act, less Echo and the Bunnymen, maybe. May 25th, went to see Skydiggers at a venue that I love, Hollywood Theater. I was pleasantly surprised because I think they sold the place out. It was packed. Mixture. It wasn't just old folks. And Skydiggers are a band from Toronto. They've been around since really like the mid to late 80s, I guess. And guys that I've known from my days in Toronto, and it was fun to see them. April 16th, I really enjoyed Daniel Romano. You've heard me talk about him before. Daniel Romano's outfit. When they do their show, they come on and they pretty much don't take a break through the whole show. It's just one after another. And it was high energy. It was also the Hollywood Theater, which is, again, I really like as a venue. They seem to have a great sound system and nice acoustics, pretty decent sized dance floor. And anyways, that was really good. Daniel Romano's outfit, really enjoyed that. And then February 8th, the sort of the first show that I saw of the year, Government Mule, so Warren Haynes. I didn't love the show. So disclaimer or caveat or whatever was that went into the show, and partway through, someone not that far from us had a heart attack, and there were people screaming and pointing, and the band kept playing and then eventually stopped. And I just found that kind of very disconcerting, and it was hard for me to get back into the mindset of the show. But I will also say, and this is just my opinion, so I love great guitarists, and Warren Haynes is obviously an excellent guitarist. But my experience, the band was super tight and it was wonderful, but I didn't feel much emotion from his playing. It just didn't really do it for me. It felt like it was high quality, skilled playing without the emotions or the passions underneath it. So that's just my opinion, but I don't think I'll be going to any more Government Mule shows. It was okay. So those were, the first 6 months of concerts here in 2024. The next one was supposed to be, this weekend I'm going to the Vancouver Folk Fest, and we'll be seeing a whole bunch of stuff over the weekend, mostly smaller named artists, not big names. But after that, a couple days after that, I was supposed to see Neil Young and Crazy Horse, but of course they've canceled the rest of their tour. So really sorry to miss that. They were going to be playing Deer Park out in Burnaby, and that would have been an interesting place to see them. So disappointed that I'm not going to get to see that. I think the next gig after that might be Robert Plant and Alison Krauss. So got a few shows lined up, Paul Weller and Social Distortion coming later in the year, and I'm sure there'll be some announcements of things to see then. So those are the concerts that I've really enjoyed. Carpe diem, MFs.